The 5th of July, 1901, Volume 4. Jesus is the beginning, the means, and the end of all desires. As I was concerned about the state of my soul, all of a sudden my adorable Jesus came and told me, "My daughter, do not be concerned, for I alone am the beginning, the means, and the end of all your desires." With these words, I calmed myself in Jesus. May everything be for the glory of God, and may his holy name be blessed. End of the reading. The 5th of July, 1905, Volume 6. The humanity of Jesus is melody for the divinity. Continuing in my usual state, I was continuing my usual interior operations, and blessed Jesus, on coming, told me, "My daughter, my humanity is melody for the divinity, because all my operations formed many keys, which formed the most perfect and harmonious melody, such as to amuse the divine hearing. And the soul who conforms to my same operations, internal and external, continues the melody of my very humanity for the divinity." End of the reading. The 5th of July, 1923, Volume 15. Jesus is presented to Pilate by the Jews, what his kingdom is. I was accompanying my suffering Jesus in the hours of his most bitter passion, especially when Jesus was presented to Pilate by the Jews and was accused. And Pilate, not satisfied with the simple accusations they were making against him, returned to question him in order to find a reason sufficient to condemn him or to release him. And Jesus, beginning to speak in my interior, told me, "My daughter, everything in my life is profound mystery and sublime teachings in which man must reflect himself in order to imitate me. You must know that the pride of the Jews was so great, especially in the false sanctity they professed, because of which they were held as upright and conscientious men, that they believed that by just presenting me themselves, and by saying that they had found me at fault and guilty to death, Pilate would have to believe them and condemn me without making me undergo any interrogation. Also, since they were dealing with a Gentile judge who had no knowledge of God nor a conscience. But God disposed things differently in order to confuse them and to teach superiors that as good and holy as the people who charge a poor accused one may appear, they should not believe them easily, but should almost overwhelm them with many interrogations to see whether there is truth, or rather, under that appearance of goodness, there is some jealousy, rancour, or the intention to snatch some aspired position or dignity from their superiors by making their way into their hearts. Scrutiny makes one know people. It confuses them and shows that one does not trust them. And in seeing themselves not appreciated, they dismiss their thought of aspiring to positions or of accusing others. How much harm superiors do when, keeping their eyes closed, trusting in false goodness and not in proven virtue, they assign a position or pay heed to someone who is accusing someone else of some fault. How humiliated the Jews were left in not being easily believed by Pilate, in going through many interrogations. And if he surrendered to condemning me, it was not because he believed them, but because he was forced to, so as not to lose his position. This confused them so much that their extreme confusion and profound humiliation remained impressed on their foreheads like a mark, more so since they noticed more rectitude and more conscience in a Gentile judge than in themselves. How necessary and just scrutiny is, It casts light and calm into the true good and confusion into the evil. And when wanting to scrutinize me also, Pilate asked me, "Are you king, and where is your kingdom?" I wanted to give another sublime lesson by saying, "I am king," and I wanted to say, "But do you know what my kingdom is? My kingdom is my pains, my blood, my virtues. This is the true kingdom which I possess, not outside of me, but within me. What one possesses on the outside is not a true kingdom, nor a safe dominion, because that which is not inside of man can be taken away, usurped, and he will be forced to leave it. But that which he has inside, no one will be able to take away from him. Its dominion will be eternal within him. The characteristics of my kingdom are my wounds, the thorns, the cross. I do not act like the other kings who make their peoples live outside of them, unsafe and eventually even starving. Not me. I call my peoples to dwell inside the rooms of my wounds, fortified and sheltered by my pains, their thirst quenched by my blood, their hunger satisfied by my flesh. This alone is true reigning. All other reigns are reigns of slavery, of dangers, and of death. While in my reign there is true life. How many sublime teachings, how many profound mysteries in my words. Each soul should say to herself in pains and in sufferings, in humiliations and in abandonments by all, and in practicing true virtues, "This is my kingdom, which is not subject to perishing. No one can take it away from me or touch it. On the contrary, my kingdom is eternal and divine, similar to that of my sweet Jesus. My sufferings and pains certify it for me and render my kingdom more fortified and fierce in such a way that in the face of my great strength, no one will be able to wage battle against me. This is the kingdom of peace to which all my children should aspire." End of the reading. The 5th of July, 1926, volume 19. Jesus makes himself seen while writing what he says about his will in the depth of the soul, and then he gives a short account of it in words. I was feeling invested by and prey to the supreme light of the eternal volition, and my always lovable Jesus made himself seen standing in the depth of my soul with a pen of light in his hand, in the act of writing on thick light, which seemed to be a canvas, but was light extended within my soul. And my Jesus was writing and writing in the depth of this light. How beautiful it was to see him write with indescribable mastery and speed. Then after he had written, as though opening the doors of my interior, he called the confessor with his hand, saying to him, "Come to see what I myself write in the depth of this soul. I never write on paper or canvas, because they are subject to perishing. But I delight in writing in the depth of the light enclosed in this soul by virtue of my will. My characters of light are indelible and of infinite value. So when I have to manifest to her the truths about my will, first I do the work of writing them in the depth of her being, and then I speak to her, giving a short account of what is written in her. This is why when she says what I have told her, she says it with few words, while when she writes, she does it at length. It is my writing that, overflowing outside of her soul, does not give a short account, but my extended truth, just as I myself wrote it in her most inmost interior. I remain surprised and with an unspeakable joy in seeing my sweet Jesus writing inside of me, and I could touch with my own hand that while in speaking I am able to say little of what he tells me. Even more it seems to me that he has only given me the topic. Then in writing, It is his interest to help me develop it as he pleases. And Jesus, all goodness, told me, my daughter, now your marvel ceases, that while you write, you feel the truths arise within you, as though from within a fount. It is the work of your Jesus done in you, that overflowing from every part of your song, pours order on paper, and the truths written in you, marked with characters of light. Therefore let your fears cease, and do not want to limit yourself to the short account of my words, nor resist me when I want to go into more details, and have you write on paper what I wrote in your soul with so much love. How many times you force me to use my power and to overwhelm you, so that you may not resist me in writing what I want. Therefore let me do. It will be your Jesus' care that the truth may shine in everything. End of the reading. There are no more readings today.